little bit about how you and KATEK see that whole ESG picture and how important it is to kind of your plans to be part of this new frontier of EMS?
Yeah. Yeah, happy to do so. And maybe again, let me start with a more general sentence. I mean, KATEK is based in the German Mittelstand, and Mittelstand has been always doing business in a sustainable way, being corporate citizen, even before sustainability became a quasi German word. So for us, it is a kind of, it has been a development of I mean, we've been growing as a company. We've learned to document things better than we did before, because every part of KATEK has been in its own environment, has been in its own society, has been corporate citizen ever since, without really making a documentation of it. So, now you're right. We've been putting all that together. We've been answering the questions of the community, the stakeholders, and yeah, we're happy and proud that we could really publish that that first sustainability report in a new volume in 4/21 just last week. So this has been out, and we've put all those content on the website and all this. And I mean, for me, to now more precisely answer your question, it is a very essential part of be there not only for today, but have a more thorough plan to do that and be a sustainable part of that future. So. And this is how we try to balance that with strategies and roadmaps for all the aspects of the E, the S, and the G.
Yeah, and it's managing that whole thing. And I think you make a very good point that, you know, maybe initially when KATEK was formed, obviously that sustainable side of things is almost second nature, particularly in the region in which you operate. And I think it's important to have that as something that you do because you feel it's the right thing, not because it needs to be done and it needs to be reported. But I see a lot of dynamics kind of changing the supply chain and potentially changing the supply chain for the better. So when we look at things like in region for region manufacturing or regionalization or reshoring or whatever people call it, we look at that desire for supply chain security. We look at OEMs thinking maybe we shouldn't be chasing low-cost labor around the world forever because we can't continue to do that. That isn't a sustainable strategy. A lot of those things to me point to shorter supply chains, and shorter supply chains in themselves have the potential to have, you know, a positive environmental impact. Is that something you're noticing within your group and within your customers?
Yes, certainly we do. And because as you mentioned it, we've come out of an era of very stable times. So people optimized and maybe even exaggerated a little bit at that. Also part of our customers were dependent on very long, quite complex supply chains. And I mean, we as KATEK started to, with our offer of being a European electronics partner, I mean, we stand for European partnerships. We do local business, regional business over here. Obviously, I mean, we have also supply chains to manage, and some of those go to Asia, obviously. Of course. But still, I see that there is a demand, just as you said, for driving down the complexity, make supply chains more robust, do more local business, and maybe get rid of some exaggerations of the last years, where people kind of over-optimized and over did some of the aspects, and now they're seeing, well, I mean, if things go the hard way, they have to let go of some of their just in time, just in sequence things, and I mean, because this is just not a robust way of doing business. So, but still, and that is kind of the answer to your question. Yes, we see that with our customers, and we are able to answer that need.
Yeah. And do you see specific sectors where demand for regionalization or demand for changes in the supply chain are greater? I've been talking to some companies in the automotive sector, and when they were moving from the internal combustion to EVs, some of them are rethinking their supply chain. Some of them are perhaps applying more focus on partners like KATEK or EMS partners generally, and saying, hey, we can shorten the supply chain here with these guys, and we can manufacture in region for region.
Yeah, I have to admit, this is just based on personal perception there. I don't have any official data. But yes, I certainly see that, and there are industries that have been have had a more regional supply chain ever since, and they have not moved it global so far. Automotive is, for me, is one of the industries that has been in a very detailed optimization script, so to say, and they've been optimizing all the way, and so this is one of the supply chains that are being rethought right now, and because they I mean, yeah, they are vulnerable. You've seen the impacts in the last weeks, just through the impacts of the Ukraine war. There have been impacts. It's been in the press. Some of the German automotive OEMs had stopped their production for a couple of weeks, just because they had a second source, but the second source was also in Ukraine. So this is kind of the vulnerabilities that they, I think, notice and reevaluate right now. I mean, it is an industry that has been in a disrupting state as it moves from combustion to other forms of